Not long after my family immigrated to America in the mid-70s, we were invited to be the special guests of a Burns supper in South Dakota. My dad was asked to give the immortal memory, my sister to recite a poem or two, and my mum and I planned to sing a couple of Burns songs. We hadn't been to a Burns supper since my dad's job transferred him from Glasgow to America, so the thought of being surrounded with fellow Scots celebrating our national bard in an evening of revelry, and that doesn't mean fish and chips, iron brew, and listening to Billy Connolly, it was well worth the trip from Chicago. We knew things were heading off the rails faster than if Salmond ran an independent Scotland when the organiser of the event greeted us in full Highland dress, with his sporran on backwards, his skiing do tucked in white athletic socks, and wearing shorts underneath his kilt. Yep, shorts. And when the haggis was piped in, the chieftain of our puddin race, well, the puddin of our chieftain race is Alex Salmond, the piper was playing an Irish jig. In the end, we had a wonderful time. Afterwards, we were overwhelmed and a bit overcome with the hospitality and the feeling of community we felt from these Scots abroad. At the dinner, they shared their stories, where they were from, how they came to America. But more than anything else, they shared what Burns and Scotland meant to them. From scenes like these, old Scotia's grandeur springs, that makes her loved at home, revered abroad, princes and lords are but the breath of kings, an honest man's the noblest work of God. That Burns night was a crazy mix of nostalgia and nonsense, which unfortunately are the only things in Salmond's appeal for independence. But my family loved every minute of it because it reminded us that Scotland has always been more than its geographic borders, and I think celebrating the life and work of Rabbi Burns tonight, as you all are, is a reminder of just that. Because we are a people of big ideas and big ambitions, and we carry them with us wherever we go. And I think Burns would have embraced the notion of being an international Scot, like me. We know that he wanted to travel beyond Scotland. He was set on immigrating at one point in his life, but his circumstances, poverty, and a wee bit too much passion kept him at home. I think Rabbi would have embraced our world, yes, our union as it now stands, and all the opportunities it has brought us today. And I believe that's why, over the centuries, he remains one of the greatest symbols of Scotland that we have, because Burns is the personification of Scotland's influence and reach beyond these shores. Burns' nationalism was generous, egalitarian, and I think if he were here now, it would be global. Burns was bawdy and brilliant, passionate and patriotic, and maybe a wee bit too prophetic, because when he talked about government as a parcel of rogues, they'd never even been to a cabinet meeting at Butte House. Every Burns supper ends with the singing of Auld Lang Syne. And when we stood to sing it that night in South Dakota, we reminded everyone that in Scotland, we link arms when we sing Burns' most famous song. This linking of arms stretched from my family on the stage to the folks at the back of the room and through to the kitchen staff, connecting all of us. The referendum gives us a chance to recreate the linking of arms that took place that night in that small part of Scotland in South Dakota, and will be taking place across the world tonight. We can take this opportunity to embrace the things that connect us, the things that unite us in our family of nations. Not to be caught up in searching for grievances or ways to divide people who should stand together and who have stood shoulder to shoulder for hundreds of years. It flies in the face of everything that Burns stood for if we follow the lead of Alex Salmond and look across the border and only see differences. We are bigger than that. Now, like hundreds of thousands of other proud Scots, my work means that I have made my home in another part of the UK. This means that I won't have a vote in September. However, I am Scottish. I do have an opinion, and I do have a voice. This Burns night and for the coming months, all of us who believe in unity over division should use our voice to help win the referendum. We are stronger when we stand together. So tonight, when Scots and those who want to be us are raising a dram or two to Rabbie Burns, and when the speeches are all said and done and you stand to sing Auld Lang Syne, where'er ye be, link your arms. Let's honour the bard. Let's stand together, and let us not, like snarling curs, in wrangling be divided. Tonight, and for the rest of this campaign, let's link our arms. Cheers.